Jim, you sent me an email this morning with a story about how the Australians are looking at getting rid of the $100 banknote.
Mhm.
Can you tell Daily Reckoning readers how that fits into your broader ICE 9 thesis?
Sure, and this story is important in and of itself, but is part of a much larger story that we talk about in The Road to Ruin under the heading of Ice Nine. Ice Nine is just a reference to Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle novel from the early 60s, but it refers to, in the novel, it was about freezing all the water on Earth and basically freezing the planet and ending life. It was a doomsday machine. I used it as a metaphor for freezing the financial system, for locking down the financial system, closing banks, reprogramming ATMs so you can only get maybe a couple $100 or a couple £100 a day for gas and groceries, closing stock exchanges, etc. All of which will play out in the next financial crisis. But the global international elite proceed in small steps. What actually Karl Popper called piecemeal engineering, and George Soros is the leading proponent of Popper's philosophy today. So if you want to have negative interest rates, which is basically stealing savers' money, put £100,000 in your bank account, come back a year later, you only have £99,000 because the bank has taken £1,000 as a 1% negative interest rate. Instead of paying you interest, they take the money away. If you want to do that, you have to get rid of cash, because the very simple remedy to negative interest rates is take your money out of the bank, have it in cash, put it in a safe place. A year later, you've still got your £100,000. The person in the bank only has 99. So you have to eliminate cash. And this is being done not just in Australia. The proposal in Australia that he referred to is to eliminate the $100 note from the Reserve Bank of Australia. We've already seen it in Europe. They've eliminated the €500 note. There are calls in the United States by Larry Summers and others to eliminate the $100 bill. India just made the 1,000 rupee note and the 500 rupee note. These are smaller denominations. It'd be about £20 or £10 approximately. Said they're no longer legal tender. You just woke up one day and these notes were no longer money. Same thing in Venezuela. Venezuela has other problems, but the 100 Bolivar note has been declared illegal. So around the world, they're getting rid of cash in small stages. My advice to investors is to get some of your cash into gold, physical gold, put it to one side, put it in a safe place. That's non-digital, can't be hacked, can't be subjected to negative interest rates. But it's all part of this broader thesis to lock down and freeze the financial system that we discuss in my new book, The Road to Ruin.
So we've been discussing this here in Berlin with colleagues from Agora around the world, and this is, as you've just said, very much an international phenomenon, isn't it? So people in Britain, they're as exposed to this as anyone.
Yeah, I think it's foolish to think that anyone's exempt. There's this notion people are in denial about these trends, and they say, "Oh, it can't happen here." They look at Cyprus, for example, in 2013, or Greece in 2015. This happened, by the way, in both of those countries. The banks were shut, the ATMs were turned off. People in Athens in 2015, they were flying to Frankfurt with empty suitcases, loading them up with euros and physical cash, and coming back to Greece so they could have some money, because the banks were closed, the ATMs were shut down, credit cards didn't work, debit cards didn't work, etc. The economy was reverting very quickly to an old barter style system, and people were getting out of Greece and coming back with paper notes. So Greece is a major country. Cyprus is smaller, but the point is these are not isolated cases. Think of the sequence: Cyprus, Greece, India, Venezuela, Australia. Australia is a developed economy, a major economy. What makes people in the UK think they're exempt? This is coming their way.
And Jim, you lay out how this can develop and how you think it will develop in your book, The Road to Ruin.
I do, because the war on cash will lead quickly to the war on gold. That's why I advise people to get gold, while they still can. A lot of people say, "Oh, price of gold's been going down, or it fluctuates, or it's volatile, and I want to make money in the stock market." It's all well and good, but when this financial lockdown happens, when the financial crisis happens, it will happen very quickly. And people say, "Oh, I'll sell my stocks and go out and get gold." But you might find the stock market's down 30%, 40% in the blink of an eye. You might find the physical gold is unavailable. The dealers are back ordered, the mints are back ordered, the place you thought you might be able to get it, suddenly it's unavailable. It's prudent to actually look ahead and do some of these things in advance. And it's not just the war on cash and the war on gold. It's the global tax schemes. It's preparation for actually locking down the financial system. None of this is hypothesized or made up or futuristic. It's all happening today. These laws are being passed. These regulations are being put in place. Preparations are being made. The book is heavily documented. It has 151 endnotes. Now, fortunately, they're at the end, so you can skip them if you want to. But if you want to do a deeper dive, it's all the documentation is there, all the references are there. It's all explained very carefully in my new book, The Road to Ruin.